Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through some of the problems on the 5A assignment. All right, first one we've got here is number 1. For each scatter diagram, describe the relationship between the variables. Consider the direction, the linearity, and the strength of the relationship, as well as the presence of any outliers. Okay, so there's kind of 4 things we got to look at here. So this one here, you can tell, looks like it goes down and it looks fairly linear. Okay, so direction is going to end up being negative. Okay, so negative. The linearity, it looks like it's linear, so linear. The strength, it just all those points are pretty tight to that line, so this would be strong. And there is indeed an outlier. Okay, D looks like it goes something like that for the most part. So the direction is also negative. It is not linear. It appears to be fairly strong. These dots are all pretty close to that line, and there is indeed an outlier here too. All right, and then on F, looks like it kind of goes up like so. So this would be positive, nonlinear, because it's not making a straight line. It would be maybe moderate, or possibly even weak. I could go with either one of those. And it does not appear that there are any outliers. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at number 3. The scores awarded by 2 judges in an ice skating competition are shown in the table. Construct a scatter diagram for the data with Judge A's score on the horizontal axis and Judge B's score on the vertical axis. Okay, so here's the scatter diagram. Well, not the scatter diagram, but here's our graph that we can put on there. So now we simply are just going to graph each one. So this basically, Judge A is the x-axis and Judge B is the y-axis. So we go over to 5 and up to 6, right, which is right there. And then we do all the rest of these. Okay, so after graphing them all, it looks like this. So there's our scatter diagram. So check, we're done with that. B, copy and complete the following comments about the scatter diagram. There appears to be a blank, blank, blank correlation between Judge A and Judge B. Okay, so this is what we were looking at before. So we want to look, is it, strong, moderate, weak? Is it positive or negative? And is it linear? Okay, so it appears to be, again, if we can kind of take ourselves, make a line that goes through this here. It looks like maybe something like that. So it appears to be I'd say that's pretty strong. Strong. And it's positive. And it looks to be linear. So strong, positive, linear correlation between Judge A and Judge B scores. This means that as Judge A's scores increase, Judge B's scores also increase. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the next one, number 5. Choose a scatter diagram which best illustrates the relationship between the variables x and y. X is the number of apples bought by customers. So that's going to be this here. And then y, the total cost of apples bought. So as you buy more apples, you would expect the price to increase, right? So it's certainly not going to be A. It could be B. Probably not C. Probably D would be probably my that would be my best guess. Again, it should be pretty straight and linear there. So I'm going to go with D on that one. B, X is the number of push-ups a student can perform in 1 minute, and Y is the time taken for the student to run 100 meters. So this is push-ups compared to how much time it's going to take them to run the 100 meters. So basically, we're trying to figure out how strongly are these things going to be related. So really on that one there, I don't think that these are going to be super closely related. It could be this. So the more push-ups, this says the more push-ups, the lower the time. More push-ups, the higher the time. No relationship at all. I would go with either C or probably A. The book has A on this one, but I could totally see a strong case for it also being C. Okay. Last one we're going to take a look at. 6 scatter diagram shows the marks obtained by the students in a test out of 50 marks, plotted against the number of hours each student studied for the test. Describe the correlation between the variables. So it appears that the more hours of study, the higher the test. So more hours studied resulted in a higher test score. Higher score. Sorry, kind of ran out of room there. How should the outlier be treated? Okay, so it could be possibly an error, but it does say it's out of 50 marks. There's 50. That's the high. Oh, it's a pretty bad line there. This is the high water mark. You can't get. You had a lot of extra credit in there. You can't even get that. So since that's not even within the range of scores that are offered, then I would say discard it. Discard it. It seems to be an error. Okay. Now, if you happen to have another one that was like, you studied a whole bunch and you got a really low score over here, that could be, could be an error also, or it could be that, someone just did not get the material even though they looked at it. Or maybe as they studied, they were doing something else and they were distracted or something like that. Okay. All right. That's all that we have for the 5A assignment. If you have any further questions on any of these or the other problems, please feel free to ask. Thanks.